Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zoom room again. Expensive graphics as usual. Again, we're always lucky to have somebody here, but this time I've got another friend of mine, Tony Kuna. Now, a couple of Gary facts about Tony before we start. Tony is definitely a Portuguese fan, because, again, you'll hear it in a second why. He was a player, he was a coach, and then he crossed to the dark side and became a referee, and we're going to explore that with him. So, hi, Tony. How are you doing?
Hey, Gary. How's it going?
It's good. So, can you tell everybody about your first memory of you when you started playing and when you fell in love with the sport?
Well, it was back in the old country in Portugal when I was about 7, 8 years old. And basically, we played street soccer. We went to school during the day, and we couldn't wait to get home, put our books away, and run out of the house to go play across the street on a dirt field. And that's how I fell in love with the game. It was just kids from your neighbors. We got 5 or 6 kids together. We played 3-on-3, and on a dirt field until your mother called you in for dinner.
I remember those days. Mine might have been a bit more wetter than yours, meaning from Newcastle that way. But so looking at the green and white scarf behind you, so from Lisbon?
No, I'm not from Lisbon.
No,
I'm from a little bit north.
Team, right?
What's that?
That's your team, though, is it not?
Oh, my favorite Portuguese team. Yeah, it's from Lisbon, Sporting of Lisbon. Yeah, I've been suffering for a long time because we haven't won anything in years, and it's basically the Portuguese league is a three-team league. It's always the 3 teams winning everything, and the last 30 years or so, it's been 2 teams winning, and not mine. You know. But
so whereabouts in Portugal did you grow up?
So I grew up about an hour south of Porto in a city called Aveiro. Really beautiful city, near the ocean, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, I was lucky enough to go to Portugal last year, as we talked about before, and you're right. Everything's beside the ocean, and it is beautiful. So, growing up, you played on the street. Then, was there any organized ball at all?
There wasn't. Back in the 70s in Portugal, there was no youth organized sports. You played with your friends on the street, and in school you had gym, and that's all at school break, that's all you did was play soccer. Yeah. So there was no other sports. We didn't play baseball. We don't play football. It was soccer. And yes, there was not organized sports. So my beginnings was just street soccer, period.
So leaving street soccer, when did you come to the States?
So my parents brought us over in 78. Came into the States, 13 years old, and very excited. I get here, and the first thing I do, I turn on the TV to look for a soccer game, and there's none. I'm like basically crying, looking for a game on TV. And all you could find was like the Spanish channel. As they were speaking Spanish, I didn't understand a whole lot, but I was happy just to have the Spanish league, whatever league it was, Mexico or whatever. But yeah, you couldn't find a game, basically. Back in 78, 79, you could not find a game on TV. Yeah, it was pretty upsetting.
I can't even imagine that, especially today when you have every time.
Oh, today you just have like 6, 7 games going at the same time, so you got a lot to pick from.
Absolutely. So then when you came over, did you play over in the States? Did you play in the States at all?
So I joined middle school, 8th grade, and they start playing soccer in the gym time. They were playing soccer, but I was like, wait, this is not soccer. These kids are just bunching up and chasing the ball. What's going on here? Now, it wasn't until high school it got a little more organized. And even then, I grew up in a tough little town called Kearney, New Jersey, where soccer was real big. There was all the Scottish town, and out of that town, there was a lot of talent. There was stuff to play on the high school team. Tony Miola's, Tab Ramos, John Oryx, they all came out of that high school. Wow. And so, yeah, as a freshman, I played. I was on the bench. I was like a bench player because they were so good.
Yeah. So then, from high school and into becoming an adult, did you still keep playing as an adult?
After high school, I played like the leagues in Jersey, like your local ethnic leagues,
Yeah.
where we played. It was adult soccer. Played other clubs like, Union Lancers, a very old club, Corny Portuguese, teams in Newark. Newark's got a bunch of teams in North Jersey. That's where I grew up. Yeah. So I played about 4 or 5 years in those ethnic leagues. Yes.
Oh, wow. So when I first met Tony, you were a coach at Warrington Soccer Club, I believe.
Yes.
With your oldest daughter.
I was she was U14, and the way I met you was funny. I saw you were advertising some summer camps or summer sessions, and I was looking for a trainer for the girls because they were terrible. And I got your number. I called you. I brought you in, and that one summer you showed us a few things, and we won the damn division. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah, but yeah. I knew there was
just the English accent did it, I believe.
Well, your Portuguese accent with my kids would do the same thing too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So then you have 3 girls.
I have 3 girls.
I remember, again, like lucky enough to coach one of them, the youngest one as well, for quite a few years, which was great. So I obviously got to know you a bit better. And again, passionate as we all are in the sport. Good coach. I know you say you're not, but you were. Patience of a saint. 3 girls in the house. I've only got 1, and I know your pain a little bit. But then you've gone from being a coach now over to refereeing.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that. And again, I know that was it inspired by one of your girls? Because I know your girls referee too, right?
Well, I started about 6 years ago, back in 2004. No, I'm sorry, 2014. Not 2004. 2014. I got into refereeing. I said, I stepped away from coaching because we hire, the club start hiring paid coaches and stuff, and get away from parent coaching. So I started, let me try this out. And yeah, I started reffing. Then my younger daughter, a couple of years later, came and ref with me. And I always told the younger kids, hey, this is a great thing for you guys to get started. You like to play the game, and you're looking to make a little extra money. This is easy. You guys know the game. Just go ref a couple of games on weekends. You make some money. And yes, so my daughter did do it for a couple of years, but that was it. She was not cut out for it.
Well, could out as the parents were giving her a hard time, or?
Yeah. Parents are the biggest problem. Especially on the young kids, they're just starting, and they expect them to be not make any mistakes whatsoever, even when they're starting. Even when you tell them before the game, look, I got a new kid here. He's fresh. He just finished. So let's give him a break. And parents do not give kids break. I mean, they just jump all over their case if any little mistake. Yeah. So this is why the younger kids will ref 1 or 2 years and then drop off. They don't have a thick skin yet to put up with the parents or the coaches or whatever it is.
It's certainly a problem that we're identifying and we've got to work on. But again, it's a long way off. So
yes.
Refereeing. So I know you're ref club. You also ref high school.
Ref club and high school. Yes.
Yeah. And are you enjoying it? Is it? I mean, again,
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I do it for the love of the game. Number one, I love being out there, getting some fresh air, running around a little bit exercise, and also see these kids play at every level. I really enjoy it. The only thing I don't enjoy is at the younger levels, especially youth travel soccer, the parents are not educated about the game enough. They're just coming into it with the 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, and they don't have no clue about the game, and they just can get on everybody's case about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've noticed that again. I've noticed it a lot of tournaments over the last 15 years where you have like a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old game going on, and it's usually the youngest referee refereeing that age group, where that's usually the hardest
Yes.
sideline to control. Again, as you get older, the girls and boys at like 8, 16, 17, and 18, obviously that's a different dynamic on the field. But the sideline's not as out of control. Again, out of control, maybe not everybody, but one element, especially with the younger ages, it's pretty hard for a younger ref. I mean, again, I've seen recently at tournaments that they now started putting the more mature referees with the younger kids. Again, for that issue, not to do with the size of the field, it's to do with the sideline, because that's tough. So what's the difference between high school and club soccer then, refereeing wise?
Refereeing wise, there's a couple different rules you got to keep track of. Number one. Number two, high school soccer is the kids behave a lot better because now they got to put up. The coach is being watched by the athletic director, and the kids are educated about the game a little better. It's all about school spirit. Number one, the level of soccer is not as good as some of the top travel teams around there. These better clubs that were like, say, for instance, the Yukis, which have these good coaches. They're well prepared and they already play a nice advanced game. When you go to high school, it's like totally different. It's not very organized. Very, very seldom you see a very organized team, a very well coached team. Yeah, I mean, they have the talent, but they don't, I guess, totally different style.
I think it's something to do with, I mean, you can tell me from being on the field, I think it's something to do with the tempo of the game. Because again, when you're playing and when you used to play, you can slow the game down, speed it up. It seems that every high school game that I've been to, maybe but one, is 100 miles an hour. Everything's as fast as it can be. And again, the game sometimes falls apart a little bit with not having a tempo, being able to slow the game down, pull the other team around, and then attack instead of just attacking. Again,
well, there's some well-coached teams out there with some good coaches. Attleboro, Horsham, I would say Council Rock North. There's some coaches out there that they coach travel, high-level teams at the travel level, and then they try to implement that on high school level. And so sometimes you run into really decent teams in high school. Not all of them are bad.
Yeah, definitely. So on refereeing, then, loads of questions about refereeing. How many games would you do in a day? 2 or 3, maybe? Or is it all dependent on
on a weekend when it's travel. Like I'll try to pick up 2 or 3 games. Yeah. Once in a while I'll just do 1 game, but 2 or 3 games would be like a normal day for me. Yeah. I like doing tournaments where they're all day. You do like 5, 6 games. Yeah. And but 2 games, high level, you should do just max 2 games. Now, if they're like lower level games, you can do 3 games on a Saturday or a Sunday with no issues whatsoever.
I just as put it out that I did my referee license last year. It's 19, and I ref 3 games.
Okay.
And I had the Apple Watch on, tracking my moves as well. And I think I did 7 miles in a 9v9 game. I was all over the place. I was loving it. It was great. It was just great.
You get a workout. You believe it or not. By the end of the 3 games on a day, you look at that Apple Watch and you're like, "Holy crap! Did I do all those miles?" It's a good workout. Tell you what.
All right. So here's some questions. Who's your team? Who's your favorite player of all time? Who's your favorite player now? And if you got the chance to be the referee at the World Cup final, what teams would you want to be there? And let's do a club final too. Which 2 clubs would you want to ref there?
So my favorite team is Sporting of Lisbon, like I told you earlier. Yeah. And of course, the Portuguese national team. I'm also a big fan of the Philadelphia Union, but that's a total different level. Now, the second question was my favorite player. Mm-hmm. That's an easy one. He wears number 7, CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo, which, by the way, became a great player because he was taught by a great English coach, Ferguson.
He was managed by
Manchester United. He's the one who brought this kid from being a little wise guy into the player he is today.
Yeah.
So I gave him a lot of credit. And my favorite player of all time, man, that's a hard one because as a young kid, I used to watch World Cups like crazy. There were so many players that from Italy, from England, from everywhere. I mean, amazing players. But again, Cristiano Ronaldo will be my all-time favorite because I've been watching him so long. Now, the other question was
which 2 club teams would you like to referee?
No, you said national teams.
Which national teams too? Yeah, I was getting there after that.
Portugal versus England. Just back like 2004. Was it 2004 European Cup?
Yep.
2004 semifinal.
Yeah.
What a game! Just all the players involved in that game. It's unbelievable. If you look back and you think about the names in that game, I jogged them down just for. I mean, England had Beckham, Owen. Who else did they had? They had a bunch. I mean, I look at that game and just see the people involved in that game. I'm like, holy, my God, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
It was like their golden age for that one year. So that would be great. England versus Portugal.
Yeah.
And then you said clubs.
Yeah, which 2 clubs would you like to?
Oh, as a referee or as a fan?
As a referee.
Oh boy, I would Portugal Sporting.
Yeah.
Not Portugal. I mean Porto Sporting.
Sporting.
Yeah, because they're one of our biggest rivals, and it'd be awesome. Just yeah.
I'd like to watch that one. Yeah, that would be a game. That would be a game I'd like to watch.
Oh, me refereeing? Oh
yeah.
They would kill me. I would have been killed by the Porto fans. They'd be running me out of the stadium.
That's awesome. Now, have you got any? Thanks for your time. But have you got any advice for anybody who wants to get into refereeing?
You gotta have a real thick skin. You cannot let. You're gonna get some verbal abuse no matter what from parents. Number one, from parents, they're the worst. Then some of the coaches out there, which actually has gotten a lot better the last couple of years.
Well, that's good.
But about 3 or 4 years ago, it was really bad.
Yeah.
And then players are. You would think players will give you a hard time. Players really don't give you a hard time.
No.
If as a referee, instead of just pulling the yellow card and red card, you talk to them first after a bad foul, and you talk a little bit up to them and says, look, this can do this because of this or because of that. Usually the player will calm down and not get in trouble again. But you have to have thick skin. You got basically ignore the outside people trying to talk to you from the outside and just concentrate on the game and the kids. Because we're out there for the kids. We're not out there for the parents and not for the coaches. We're there to enforce the rules and keep the game safe for the young kids, the young boys or girls that are playing the game. So make sure you have a thick skin. Make sure that not everything bothers you. And it's a fun thing to do. I mean, I love doing it. I miss it right now. I've been doing it since October, I believe. And yeah, I hope we get back on the field soon.
Me too. And so thanks for your time, Tony.
Well, thank you, Gary. And we'll stay in touch. Hopefully I'll see you on the field one of these days.
Absolutely.